Hey guys, welcome back to Enterprises. Once again, this is your host and game, and today's video I'm going to be doing a movie review on Mission Impossible Fallout. Alright, now where do I start with this film? At first I wanted to do the review when I see it yesterday, but I want to let it sink in a little because it's a bit of a different film than what you'd usually see compared to like how they have these big fantasy driven or all these kind of like crazy effects movies that are out now, but with the case with Fallout is more action story driven film. And first before I get into Fallout, I have to talk about my whole stance on the Mission Impossible franchise as a whole, just so I can get in a little more clarity here. I haven't seen much of it other than the third one go straight up, right? Um, because the first and the second one, I've only seen like bits and pieces of the film, not the entirety of them, right? Um, but what I heard there were like some really good films. I've seen the third one, which I've heard was better than those, but it sort of was like the third one got a lot of heat because of Tom Cruise public image at the time with the Scientology, and he sort of like went downhill. Yeah, that's why some people would say the third one is not really good, but for me, I think the third one is a good film. The fourth one really stepped up their game with that one. Brad Bird really did a good job with that one. The fifth one managed to hold up the franchise pretty well. Christopher McQuarrie coming, he did a pretty good job with the fifth one. I'll admit that. I don't think the fifth one is as good as the fourth one, but it was pretty close. Now, with that being said, the same director from number 5 come back from number 6, and the question is, how good is this film? Because everyone everywhere is praising it as like the best film in the franchise of all time, whatever. And I have to say, I can't really argue them. I mean, this is probably the best. Probably. I have to let it sink in a little bit because the story is quite complex with a lot of stuff. Like, it's not one of those films where you could just sit down, you can like soak it all in, it's easy to understand, but you have to pay attention to it. It's like a lot of stuff. You have to pay attention to the exchanges between the dialogue and some of the stuff you might see in the background or something here and there. It's a very detailed film in terms of like explaining stuff, and overall I did get the overall gist of the story. It was pretty wild. They had a good bit of twists here and there, pretty much like what you'd expect from the Mission Impossible films. Also, I'd noticed that this one compared to the previous one is a lot more intense, a lot more aggressive with the action, and the visual is a lot more amped up, because I think that has to be with the director filming it with more 3D cameras. So it all is a very good looking film, very well directed, much more intense, much more serious, and it's also a bit more humor in it. I really like seeing Henry Cavill's character in it. He did a great job. I really don't think the mustache was warranted like for this film. I mean, maybe for some scenes, like one or two scenes or whatnot, but I think it for them because he did a pretty good job with his character. I mean, he had that sort of like menacing um, pull to him, but still he had that sort of charming factor to his character, which was pretty good. Um, I was pretty disappointed with Jeremy Renner's character, who had like a pretty important role in the previous one. She's nowhere to be seen in this film, and I was wondering why is that. Apparently there's posts about on the internet that how he um wasn't there for some reason. I mean, he has no excuse at this point because he wasn't even in Infinity War, and he's not even in Ant-Man. So my guess is, where the hell was he? Because I read up in an article that he actually turned down a cameo in this film, and I think that was pretty disappointing because I think some of us would have been interested to see his character come back here, and the other characters came back here. Ving Rhames' character, Simon Pegg character, Rebecca Ferguson's character. The other actors' characters from the previous one showed up. They looked great. They had some pretty great scenes with them. It was overall pretty good, and it's very, very tracked with some intense action. Like over here, even though Tom Cruise is a lot more older and a lot, you can see he's getting more and more weaker, like in terms of his look. But the guy's doing over here, he does much more dangerous stunts than he does in his previous films. I mean, I don't even know how to even manage that. I mean, he getting old and he do more dangerous stuff. Like the scenes where he is flying in a helicopter, he actually flew the helicopter. He said that he learned how to do it in like about 2 months, I think. And I think that's insane to actually do that, just to fly a couple scenes with the helicopter in this film. Also, not to mention, he broke his ankle on that scene. They have it in the film actually. He running on top of the building, he jump over and his ankle, you know. And then there's a bit where he falls off the car and he basically injures himself again. Goes above and beyond with this, and that's the whole special factor in the Mission Impossible films with and the stunts. They go above and beyond, but they always manage to give it that sort of flair that you can be like, you can actually understand it. I think that's pretty cool. My only downside to the film is that it take a while at the beginning to jump into it. Also, the ending was kind of predictable in a way. I mean, given the fact that when you watch this film and you see how the first and the second act builds in and how it executed, you're like, whoa. And then the third act, it's very intense, and has a lot of stuff going for it. But I don't know. I mean, the third act, it was executed well. It had some pretty good moments in it, but after a while, it kind of began to predict that what was going to happen, which is actually a bit of a setback because throughout the first and the second act, you was you had a thought in your head maybe this would happen, then you see it happen this way, and then you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, that was probably the only gripe I'd probably think I'd have with this film. Overall, where I'd probably would stand with this film, right? I'd give the previous Mission Impossible films, at least the fourth and the fifth one, 9 out of 10, right? But for Mission Impossible Fallout, I'd say I'd give that a 9.4 out of 10. Seeing that it's excellent, very damn good, but it does not quite achieve that level of perfection, at least from my point of view, but it's very close to it. I hope I didn't really spoil anything. I mean, I don't know if I can spoil it because, like I said earlier, there's a lot going on in the story. It's kind of complex, the way how it's structured and how it's it's back and forth, and you have to pay a lot of attention. And I don't think I've catch everything. Pay attention to the story, with all the dialogues with the character. But there's a lot that's in this film, and it really does fill that long 2 hours and a half runtime, right? So yeah, guys, I guess that pretty much sums up my review for Mission Impossible Fallout. A excellent movie, one that's very worth the watch, and it's very worth a second watch. I think I should I don't know, maybe if I get a chance, I might probably see if I can see it a second time, just to get more of that of the whole storyline and stuff. But for now, it's an excellent movie, and it's probably the blockbuster we've been waiting for, right? So yeah, guys, that pretty much sums up the review, right? So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of Mission Impossible Fallout. Have you seen it? Do you not? Do you think it's the best in the franchise? Or maybe if you prefer the previous ones? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about it and why. And be sure to check out my other videos. I do movie reviews, and I plan to get back on doing gameplay videos, but mostly movie reviews. So I'll see you guys later.